this computer. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Jeff, and I've got a little bit of a bio here. So Jeff, first I'm going to apologize to you because, and those that don't know me, I'm Chris Ritchie. My wife is over there. I don't know that she has her screen on. Most of us know her Santa stuff, but for Jeff, I'll apologize to you now. You've probably already, I'm probably not the first one, but I keep referring to you as and calling you Jeff Savage. and I'll get on the phone with Richard Sturdivant. Richard's a great friend, and I go, yeah, we're working on this thing. Jeff Savage is helping us with our marketing. We got this cool, and he goes, who the heck is Jeff Savage? And Lori goes, it's Jeff Poole, Chris. So just so you know, I've changed your name, whether or not you have officially done it.
I'm cool with it.
So anyway, I'm gonna introduce Lori. You keep doing the admits if you'll pay it. So let me. I've got some notes here from Jeff because Jeff, we've ran in the same circle for 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. But really hadn't been friends on Facebook or had an opportunity to really get to know each other. And I think mostly that's because you've kind of played in that wedding world and boudoir world, and that's not where we are. We do some boudoir, and I try not to do weddings unless it's
these days.
Yeah, my rules on weddings is it can't be their first wedding, and they have to be at least 35. So I'll do all the second weddings.
My only rule is that it has to have 5 figures in it. That's it.
There you go.
I'll do as many as they want when they know that my average client spends that much. I'll be like, okay, cool.
And that's awesome. So I'm going to read a little bit of here, some notes that I asked Jeff to send me. So Jeff and his wife, Lori, own Indigo Silver. It's a studio in Wilmington, North Carolina. And we just kind of hit on that. I guess I would call it your specialty is boudoir and wedding. And then you also operate Photo Insight. It's an educational platform for professional photographers. You've been doing weddings for over 15 years. Let's see what else. You've mentioned here things change if you don't adapt to those changes. Absolutely. That's I think that's the biggest mistake most photographers make, is not what I call staying fresh. One of mine, I'm not going to say who it is, she's not on here, but one of my very first mentors is no longer in the business. And it's because she didn't do well moving from the film to the digital world. And if there's anything for me that I made a commitment when I reinvested myself in the industry about 9 years ago, was I was taking education very, very, very serious. And every year I do something significant to help educate me and grow, whether it's in business or in my skills as a photographer. And I think the thing this year is what we're doing right here. And that's really trying to figure out how to truly market our business the way a true business should be marketed, not just what I call checkbook marketing. When your checkbook gets low, well, all of a sudden now we're throwing out some ads and we're trying to do some emails. All of a sudden, we want to get to that point where we can do this stuff. But the struggle for us has been, well, how do we manage it on Facebook, and how do we manage it here, and how do we do the emails, and how do we do the text messages, and then we're getting replies from them coming from all different places. And during Santa season, it gets frustrating. I go, yeah, somebody wanted me to get back with them. Was that on text? Was it on email? Was it on Facebook? Was it through? And they're all coming from different places, and it gets hard to manage. So that's the education I'm taking serious, and that's when we met you. But so Jeff is the co-founder of Lead Savage. We will talk a little bit about Lead Savage. It'd be dumb not to, but as I told Jeff, and we agree, this isn't a Lead Savage commercial. But we're so invested on Lead Savage. And Jeff, and you'll say it because someone did ask me, one of my students, are we sponsored by you guys? We're not. We're a paying customer. We pay you guys just like everybody else does. It's just, we truly believe in you guys, and that's why we're here. And so we were so excited about it. I wasn't at first, Lori was. And so she convinced me to pay attention to a Zoom that you did on Inside the Box. and she made me one evening get home. She goes, we're not doing anything until you watch this. And I watched it, and I think I messaged you halfway through it. Hey, we got to talk. And so here we are. So anyway, that's Jeff. And Lead Savage is just an unbelievable tool. And we'll get into that. We can answer questions later. But what I asked Jeff to do, because I had so much respect once I got to know him on his marketing stuff, is, hey, would he be willing to do us a 6-month program, 4th Thursday every month, and just help educate us, not on Lead Savage, just help educate us on the different aspects of marketing. So tonight I'm going to start with a little bit of Q&A. And anybody that has questions, type them in the chat and we'll ask some questions. But what I hope is over the next 6 months that people really understand what they really need to be doing to truly market themselves. Because you can have the best images in the world and not know how to market, and you're going to fail. And you can have very average images. I disagree with that, but you can be an expert at marketing, and you can be incredibly successful. So anyway, so Jeff, I said the first question I was going to ask you is, and so some of my history, I was a sales manager. I'm really good at sales, not that great at marketing, but good at sales. I was with a Fortune 500 company. I had 42 sales reps that worked for me. And one of the things that I always tried to teach them to be successful is you had to have a pipeline. I was managing Excel pipelines 20 years ago that we created. And we always tried to track where our business was coming from. Was it coming from an ad that we ran? Was it coming from a networking group? Was it social media? Wasn't a big thing there. Was it a phone call that I made? Was it a lead from someone? And so we had a goal of 5 different fingers out there where the business would come from. Because if you put everything on your Facebook ads, for example, well, what happens when your Facebook ad isn't working? You got nothing. So Jeff, introduce yourself, but I want to know from you, from photographers, because Lead Savage is built for photographers. It's not something that was built for the car industry that you're converting over and make work for this.
Correct.
So you obviously saw why this was needed, but I guess I'm curious, where should photographers, what are some of those 4 to 6 things that they have to be marketing in that a lot of them aren't doing?
Yeah. So I think for me, how you market is based a whole lot on your personality. And, like everybody knows in-person marketing is great. Go to networking events, go to the BNI meetings, go to all the vendor open houses. There's one this weekend for a wedding venue that I'll be going to. In-person, events and mingling with people is crucial. However, a lot of people just they suck at it. I suck at it. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I am way more at home when I'm around other photographers because I have something in common with other photographers. But you put me in a BNI meeting with a broker, man, I'm just like, I don't know what to talk to you about, right? And as a headshot photographer, because I also do headshots, that's a weakness of mine. And I realize it's a weakness of mine. So, I'm trying to get better at those in-person networking events outside of the photography world and learning how to talk to vendors and, even vendors in the wedding realm. I've been a wedding photographer for 20 years, but, you put me in a room with anybody other than a photographer and I'm just like, I don't really know what to talk to you about.
Right.
And so that's a weakness of mine, but I realize it's crucial to local business, to partnering with local businesses in your area. That's crucial. You have to do it. Even if you suck at it, get out there and do it. I do it. I suck at it. I feel awkward. I don't really know what to talk about with these people, but I get out there and do it because just like everything, practice makes perfect. So I think that, you can't underestimate in-person networking. But also, other things that you can do is you can create, a really strong website. You can create a really strong client list that you incentivize, or you don't have to incentivize them, but you can just create a client journey that makes people want to refer you, that makes people want to scream your name from the rooftops, kind kind of what we've done with Lead Savage with Chris. The reason that he's here is he sees the value in what we're doing, and he wants you guys to know about it. Well, you guys can do the same thing in your business. We do the same thing in our business. My wife, Lori, so I have a Lori too. Chris has a Lori, I have a Lori. She's a boudoir photographer, and, she has created so much buzz and value in our community about body positivity and self-worth that people just refer her left and right. And so, that is, not only the in-person networking, but it's also building a brand that creates value. And so I think that that is really important. But I think the part that a lot of photographers struggle with is the digital aspect of marketing,
Right.
because it's very tech, it's very, kind of blah. I don't, I don't want to be that like pushy, like marketing person, like just filling your inbox with spam and
Right.
crap, right? But, there's a difference between what B2B does, which is kind of what Lead Savage does. B2B is we're trying to always
And
make
for those that don't
client
know, B2B is business to business.
business to business, yeah,
Yeah.
versus B2C, which is business to consumer.
Right.
Business to consumer is different than B2B. Like we all experience B2B as business owners, and we hate it. Like go to a show. Can I scan your badge? No, you cannot scan my badge because I don't want your crap in my inbox. Unless you really see value in that, you'll let them scan your badge. But consumers, they don't know that world. They don't understand it. So when you ask a consumer for their information, they'll be like, yeah, here you go. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. Sure. Right. So, but we as business owners, we almost feel icky asking them for that because we hate it so much as business owners.
Sure.
We hate getting spammed. But consumers don't necessarily always see it that way. Some will, some don't. So I think the digital aspect of marketing is something that we as photographers have steered clear of for a long time because we don't want to be that person in our marketing. But it's a vital and very crucial part of your business that you have to do. And it's something that my Lori and we learned during the pandemic when we were because we were primarily word of mouth in-person networking before pandemic shut us down. And we're sitting here going, what do we do? Well, I heard this funnel marketing stuff works. Right? Let's figure it out. Let's learn it. And so that's all I did. I sat at this desk for hours every single day during pandemic, learning everything that we have built into what I'm going to teach you guys over the next 6 months from some of the industry's best marketing outside of photographers, right? Because what we're doing is Fortune 500 level marketing, but on a small business scale. And it works. Otherwise, those Fortune 500 companies wouldn't spend millions of dollars to do it. So a lot of what I'm going to teach you over the next 6 months is like next level marketing that your competitors probably will not be doing in your market that will help you stand out from them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Jeff, that's a great point. I want to interrupt there because when Lori finally convinced me, my Lori, to sit down and listen to the Zoom that you did, and I'll be honest, I looked at her and I went, holy crap, we have got to do this, because if we don't, someone in our market is going to, and they are going to be so far ahead of us with the ability to get leads and convert leads and track leads and manage them, that we're going to be, I don't want to be chasing someone to get my piece of the pie. I'd rather somebody be chasing me to get a little bit of my pie, if that makes sense. So with that said, because I've got some questions here, I do 90% of my marketing through Facebook. It's just worked for me. And I've done it though with some influencers, some secret stuff. Some of those that have been to my Santa workshop, I've shared that technique that I use. But when you say digital, what forms of digital? When you say digital, I've got some people saying, "Hey, is TikTok a good idea? Is Facebook? What are some different digital marketing that you feel everybody should be doing?"
Yeah, absolutely. So digital is just referring to non-print, right? Because back in the day, yellow pages, right? They still exist. Did you guys know that? I had no idea they still exist. Okay, so side story, we own a membership-based studio where we rent our studio to other photographers. Other photographers have keys, they have offices, we have separate sales rooms for those guys, shooting areas, like it's like a whole membership
Wow.
based studio. And it's called the Shoot Space. Well, about 3 or 4 times a month, we'll get a phone call and we're like, thank you for calling the Shoot Space. And we're like, do you sell 44 auto mags? And I'm like, I don't know what the hell a 44 auto mag is.
Yeah.
And I always know exactly what the call is by the tone of the guy's voice. Okay, we're in the South, okay? They're wanting bullets because the
Right.
yellow pages put us as guns and ammo. And
Oh
they will
no.
not change us out of guns and ammo unless we upgrade to a paid subscription. And I'm thinking, I'm on the phone with them and I'm like, who uses the yellow pages
Right.
these days? Like
Right.
apparently old guys wanting, and
It's those people off the grid
I'm saying the
that live
old
in a
guy.
bunker.
I'm 50. I'll be 50 this year. It sucks. It pissed me off when I realized I'm the same age as old people. And but it's those. I'm like, listen, here's the deal. You're only doing your whatever that big ass yellow book is a disservice, because when those people call me, I tell them that they should be using Google because Google's more accurate, because yellow pages will not change me unless I pay for an ad. So you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, sorry, sidestep.
No,
But
that's all
anyway,
right. So someone asked here, and
I digress.
no, I'm the worst at it. So I've got a lot of friends in here, and they know and I got a wife over there that says, shut up all the time. So someone asked, how does Lead Savage work for business to business? But what I'll say is, we're new at Lead Savage, right? It's new for us. But everyone here that I know a bunch of y'all registered for our giveaway for the Magic of Santa workshop on Baby Dream. And I think a few people registered to get information about a different workshop that we've got coming up. Well, that's an example of us as a business working with you guys that are a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so with our studio, we have an academy that we're trying to build and grow. And that's something that we're passionate about because Lori has her master's in education. She was a teacher and administrator. So we love teaching. But it works the same way as we are marketing to you guys we had y'all sign up. So you should get text message reminders, email reminders. That's where we're getting into this. And Jeff is teaching us. So it's Jeff, is that not fair to say? It's not much different.
And I think especially if you are in, like me, I do a lot of corporate headshots, and I have funnels for each of the major companies that I work with. So if I'm doing headshots for Wilmington Health, for example, I have a funnel that they forward all of their new providers to. And I mean, it just walks them through the whole booking process. Like it's smooth, because now that whole process is an extension of Wilmington Health. You can do that with realtors. Part of what I do a lot of is I partner up with a realtor and say, when you sell a house, like, what are you giving your clients when they close? Well, instead of giving them a cheesy $9 bottle of wine, let me gift you a session that's $1,000 value that gets them a free session with a free 11x14 print. And you put something in there that says, congratulations on the home, on the sale of your new home. Decorate the walls of your home with portraits from Indigo Silver. And now I push them to a funnel that has that realtor's brand all over it. So I'm an extension of their brand. And you can do this outside of Lead Savage, right?
No, absolutely. And like one of the things that we did with DPPA, the Dallas Professional Association.
Let me answer this question really quick, Chris. Someone says, what's a funnel? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's, so answer that, and I'll tell you how we directed people.
So a lot, and we're going to get into all of this, and we should probably jump into the presentation in a minute before people start going, what the hell? And they're out. But and I'm going to go, there's a whole class like funnel versus website. What's the difference? Why do I need a funnel? But to answer your question, Yogi, the difference between a funnel and a website in the Cliff Notes version is when you land on someone's website, there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can visit all of their pages. You can visit, learn about them. You can visit their social media. You can follow them, opt in for newsletters, contact them. There's a lot of what's called call to action, right? Things you're asking them to do, but there's not one single one. The difference between a website and a funnel is a very specific step of you land on page one, and the only thing you can do on page one is whatever I want you to do on page one. When you complete that action, you go to page two or step two, then you go to step three, then you go to step four. We've all seen a funnel. If you've ever opted into anybody's free guide or free downloads or anything, right? Then you get the thing for free, and then when you sign up for it, it bumps you to a next page that says, oh, for only $9, add this. And then you go, okay, well, for $9, I'll add it. And then it takes you to another one. Would you like to sign up for a mastermind? That's a funnel, right? So the thing is, those guys are doing funnels B2B, meaning that they're trying to get us into their mastermind group. And I don't have that. You're not going to get that thing from me.
Right.
They're trying to get you into some mastermind group or some next level thing, right? But essentially it's a funnel. They're sending you one page, next page, next page. And we're going to talk about all that down the road. Like I've got
and funnels are
presentations for each of the nights that we do.
Yeah, funnel is the vehicle. And what Jeff referred to, because I didn't know what this was either, that free thing that you give away. So it's usually Jeff has educated us so much. So you just want people to give you three things: their name, their email address, and their phone number. And then you give them something in value in return. So if I was marketing my Santa workshops out there to all the photographers, then I would say, hey, do you want to learn how you can make 6 figures shooting 2 months out of the year? Well, yeah, I want to know how to do that.
Free guide, right?
Right.
We've all seen
they would sign up and it would take them to a page, but then they would get an email and or a text message that has this PDF that we put together that gives them a hint of what we do, but not everything, but it does bring them some value.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the part that we're so excited about for our clients and prospective clients for our Santa program, because now we've got their information, and now, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but we use that funnel
about 3 months, but that's okay. We'll get
there. We use that funnel to get them into now our engine. And now we can blast stuff out to them, and we never have to actually physically do it ourselves. It's built into the system.
Yeah.
So anyway,
should we go ahead?
Yeah. So tonight, let me just see if there's any other quick questions real quick, just so that we are all on the same page, lingo and everything like that. So we're not going to try to make this too complicated, and we hope you pick up on something today that helps you market yourself. But Jeff, let me just do this one last thing. So I'll tell what I think, you tell me if I'm wrong. People need to be messaging the marketing through text message. They need to be marketing through email campaigns. They need to be on every social media platform they're comfortable with marketing on, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the business to business one, for example, LinkedIn. You need to have a presence on all of those. Is there any that I'm leaving out?
No, I think for the generation that most of us are marketing to, I think Instagram and TikTok are by far the best ones.
Okay.
And I'm going to get into Instagram and TikTok ads, and Facebook ads, in future classes.
Yep.
But, there's definitely a lot of benefit in those. Facebook is like the golden staple, and then the difference between Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Google is like night and day. So I will talk about the differences between those when we get to those segments. But
I just kind of wanted to make sure everybody knew, and that's why we're in this. That's why we are so hooked into you, is because now we can use these processes we're learning to manage all of those in one window.
Yeah.
And get all of the information from those. So if it doesn't matter where a client messages me from or a prospect messages me from, we now can see that in one window. So I hope that helps. So Jeff, you turn it over. Let's go over.
Okay.
Do you have that graphic that we showed?
I do. Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to share it right now.
Okay, that one that shows the next 6 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
Or
so
6.
Guys, I love Canva. Don't bust on me for using Canva.
Oh, we use it too.
I call it Photoshop for dummies.
We love Canva. So if y'all aren't using Canva, we're not sponsored by Canva.
No,
get on
absolutely
Canva.
not.
Yeah.
So guys, what we're going to do over the next 6 months is we're going to talk about marketing from a global standpoint. Tonight, we're basically just focusing on creating a marketing calendar, understanding seasonality. If you guys are like we were 3 or 4 years ago, you have peaks and valleys, and all of it, it's like feast or famine. You're like either, like he called it checkbook marketing, where you're like, oh crap, I'm like eating steak dinner tonight, and then 2 months later, you're like ramen noodles, playing bank account chicken. So we're going to talk about marketing calendars and how to create understanding seasonality tonight. Next month, we're going to talk about 6 campaigns that can take you to 6 figures or beyond. Actually, it's way more than 6, but I thought that, 6 and 6 sounded cool. But I will show you, what types of campaigns and why you need to be running campaigns on a yearly basis to be able to fill that marketing calendar. From there, we talk about what creates a successful campaign. It's like, great, I've got these campaign ideas in my head, but how do I start building them? Like what do I need to put together? What pieces of the puzzle do I need to build one of these campaigns? And that leads us into websites versus sales funnels and why owning your audience is key. One of the things that you'll hear me talk about over and over and over again: name, phone number, email, and phone number. Those are the 3 things you need from every single person that you touch: is name, email, and phone number. And I'm going to talk about why that's so important. And then on the 15th, because now you already have this foundation of like, okay, I understand that I need to be marketing around the clock, year round. I understand, I'm looking at where my peaks and valleys are in my both bookings and finance, because those aren't always linked, especially if you're in the weddings world. Bookings and finances aren't always linked. So you can have months where you book a whole lot, but you're broke. And then you can have months to where you don't book anything, but you've got tons of money coming in. So understanding that seasonality is different. So once you kind of understand like what seasonality is and what campaigns you want to build and what a website versus sales funnel is, we're going to build a sales funnel live. Now, I'm going to use Lead Savage, but again, I'm very clear to let you guys know that everything that you're going to learn in the next 6 months, you can do using the website you've got, the email platform that you've got, the text messaging platform that you've got. You can use all of your existing processes to do all the things that we're teaching. The only thing that we've done is wrap them all up into one nice, pretty little software to make everything done, so you don't have to worry about Zappy or sending data all around the place. So I'm going to build a funnel live in 30, 45 minutes so you can see how easy it is to build a marketing funnel. And then finally, we're going to talk about the one thing that photographers suck at, and the one reason why most marketing efforts fail is email nurturing and the art of converting leads through email follow-up. So that's huge. That is one of the biggest things that I think most photographers fail at. So you create this amazing offer and this amazing campaign, and you take people's info, and then they just sit in your inbox and die because you don't ever follow up with them, and you don't have a system for automated follow-up through email nurture. So, so this is what we're going to be going over the next 6 months. So I'm going to jump into slide number 1, and we're gonna start talking. So everybody see my screen okay?
Yep, I can see.
Okay, all right, because I can't see anybody. All I see is a big ass white screen right now. So if anybody has questions, feel free. I'm not, like, seriously, I'm sitting here, I got a bourbon drink. So if you have
Look
questions,
like an old fashioned.
it is an old fashioned, and it's almost an empty old fashioned, which makes me upset.
Oh, I can understand. Jeff, I did have one question here that someone asked, and it is regarding Lead Savage.
Okay.
Donna wants to know if it will integrate into their CRM. She's using Sprout Studio. And I know that's a question that Lori and I haven't even asked you yet.
Yeah.
We use Pixify. So, and you mentioned Zap. And I think a lot of people don't know what that was. I didn't really know what that is. So I believe there's some way that even if yours doesn't, Zap can use to pull. So if Zapier, so because we will want to pull people from the funnels and stuff that we get when we convert them, so that they go automatically into Pixify.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily natively integrate with CRMs, and we're not a CRM. What I tell everybody is, see, there's tons of CRMs out there like Sprout and 17 Hats. We use Tave. I love Tave. The reporting on it is amazing. But all of those platforms fall short. They are great, and by definition, your CRM is a client relationship manager. Well, what happens before their clients? They're leads, and that's where we step in. We create the processes of getting a lead, nurturing them to a client so that you can book them and make more money. That's our goal. So we fill the shoes of creating your landing pages, creating your calendars, creating all your email automations, your two-way texting, your social media scheduling, all of that wrapped into one little bubble so that when you do get that lead, it's a seamless integration to get them to booked, and then you move them into your CRM. And that does one amazing thing. And if you like me, we spend a lot of money, like Lori and I, we spend 2,000 to 3,000 a month every month on Facebook ads, and we get a lot of leads coming in. I don't want all of those leads in Tave. They're cluttering it up. I only want my clients going to Tave. So I manage all of my leads through Lead Savage, and then I manage all my clients through Tave, and I have one simple zap as opposed to 36 that I had before I created Lead Savage. One zap that when I mark someone as one, it zaps them into Tave, and then I create their invoice and send it out through Tave. So yes, Sprout has a very robust Zapier integration. We have a very robust Zapier integration, so it's a great marriage. So does 17 Hats, Tave. Most all of them have really good Zapier integrations. So when you mark someone as one inside Lead Savage, you can zap their information over into your CRM, so you're not having to duplicate that.
Okay. Jeff, let me bring something else up real quick. I want to make sure, because we've got 47 people here, and I don't want somebody to, or whoever fell out of their chair just a second ago, I don't want them to feel like, I want them to know it's okay to get back up. We're not suggesting to be successful in the photography business that they need to spend $2,000 or $3,000 a month. If you're brand new and this is a part-time gig for you and stuff, you know what though, this is perfect. What we're going over is perfect for you. And even if it's, you spend $20 a month, you spend $10 a month, you still need to, because you gave the scenario earlier, and it's how most of us got started in this business. It became a business when we realized we're making more money doing this than going into the job and working for the man, as they say, right?
And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too, because Lori and I built a 6-figure studio with zero ad spend, zero. So, you don't need to spend money to market. You just need to own your audience. And you need to have very solid system ways to collect leads, which I'm going to talk about.
Right.
So the difference between, the ad spend that Lori and I are spending versus, organic traffic, you can get to 6 figures and beyond.
Absolutely.
Without spending the kind of money that we're spending. We're spending that money because we want to hit 7, right?
Right.
So that's the difference. When you're spending 2,000 to 3,000 a month in ad spend, it's because you're wanting to hit 7 figures.
Right.
Okay. So don't feel like you have to. Absolutely.
And that's a great point. You don't have to spend any money on ads and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's text messaging, market, all that, going to those meetings and getting business cards, all that stuff. So
yeah. Somebody said, can you recommend a CRM that doesn't require you to be very techie? I can tell you that Tave is. I love Tave. I absolutely love it. It is not that one. I love it, but you do have to be very techie.
Same thing with Pixify. I wouldn't do Pixify.
I would say based on other people, and I know Brian, the guy that owns Sprout Studio, he has built a very solid onboarding process for signing up for Sprout and going through there.
I agree.
I think based on my experience with Brian and knowing people that use Sprout, if I had to start all over again, I would probably start with Sprout. I don't know HoneyBook or anything like that, but I know Brian. I know he has a lot of stuff with Sprout. But let's get started because it's already 8:30.
Right. I know we're bad. So
So all right. So I'm going to jump back in here and we're going to get started and we're going to crank through this and we're going to talk about presenting a marketing calendar. Okay. All right. Awesome. Here we go. Everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Oh, I went too far. I jumped ahead. Okay. Here we go. I'm trying to hide these floating meeting controls that Zoom has and get in my way and it irritates me. Okay. There we go. All right, so this is part 1 of the marketing series. We have 6 months of these things. This is a little bit about me. My name is Jeff. I am a PPA. First and foremost, I know you guys are like Lead Savage, software, blah, blah, blah. You don't know my industry. I am a full-time studio owner. Lori and I, we run a full-time studio. I'm a master photographer, photographic craftsman through PPA. Lori's a master photographer, photographic craftsman, and just got her master wedding photographer. Yeah, I understand the photography world. I suffered and sucked at everything for a long time, so I get it. But I recently, in the last 4 months, we co-founded Lead Savage with our amazing business partners, Margot and Keisha Franklin out of Atlanta, Georgia, who are, 20 years deep into communications, IT, tech, engineering. So those guys are awesome. And I'm also director of East Coast School, if you can't, like, just add one more thing to the list. So if you're interested in East Coast School, registration's open for this year. So definitely go check out East Coast School. All right, so a little bit about us. This is me and Lori. We own and operate Indigo Silver Studio, which is our wedding and portrait brand. We also own and operate Photo Insight, which is our mentoring brand. We don't really focus a whole lot on teaching people how to create amazing images. We specialize at helping you run a solid, successful business. We do teach lighting and posing a little bit, but where we feel our strong points are at, where we can provide the most value, is helping you understand pricing, profitability, and marketing. That's where we kind of strive, which is where Lead Savage came from. It basically was a brainchild of Keisha and Margot. And I'm very transparent. A lot of you guys have probably looked at the software and go, I've seen that before. Yeah, you probably have, because it's built on a Fortune 500 level enterprise platform that's used in industries way bigger than photography. We licensed it, and we have built onto it to be able to make it user friendly for photographers. And so there are other ones like it. So if you're looking at it, like, we didn't write the code from scratch. Like, I'm a photographer. I don't know how to write code from scratch to create a multi-million dollar software like we're using now. We've just taken the components that someone else has done, and we've adapted it for photographers so that you guys can have the success that we and a lot of other people have had when you delve into digital marketing. So that's kind of where Lead Savage came from. It was a way to help people not struggle the way we did from beginning. So to tell you a little bit about me and Lori, our background, I was a paramedic. I worked full-time at the hospital here in Wilmington. I had a studio I shared with another photographer. Lori was a grad student getting her master's degree in psychology in San Diego. We met at WPPI in Vegas. So first and foremost, that what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. That's a lie, because we have a 1-year-old downstairs. No, I'm just saying that happened like 10 years ago. So the 1-year-old just happened like a year ago. But we met at Vegas at WPPI, and it just kind of bloomed from there. So when we met, being that we were both studio owners and we both had businesses, when she moved over to North Carolina, my studio at the time was grossing well over 6 figures. I was working part-time as a paramedic. And I was like, full-time as a paramedic, part-time as a photographer. And when she moved over, I thought, okay, it's time to leave being a paramedic, because I'm making $50,000 a year, but my studio is making over 100. And now I got you here, perfect scenario. It's time to move. But what I didn't realize is that it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And so we went bankrupt. I lost my house. We ended up living in the basement of our studio for 3 years until we learned how to run a business. We spent the last $1,500 that we had in our bank account, and we went to Atlanta and we mentored under what is now, it's gone. It used to be SMS, which is Studio Management Services from PPA. And we learned how to run a business. And 2 years later, we had an 8-page article in PPA magazine, because we had excelled to one of the top performing studios in the country from being absolutely broke. So business and marketing it's near and dear to our heart, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. So a lot of what I'm teaching you, I didn't invent this stuff, right? I learned it from other photographers. I've learned it through, other non-photographer industries. And I've put it all together in a way that hopefully you guys will understand, and you can follow along and be like, those are the little nuggets I need to be able to take me to the next level. Whether that's next level is leaving your day job, hitting 6 figures, being able to buy the new camera, whatever it may be. I just hope that you get something out of these next 6 months that helps you accomplish those goals. Okay. So big shout out to my sponsors. First and foremost, Baby Dream backdrops. I didn't put their logo in here because I did not have permission to put their logo in here, but let's give them a shout out, because they are giving us this platform for me to be able to give you this education. But companies that I work closely with, Miller's, they're a lab of choice. We've worked with them for years. Vision Art, Fundy Designer, obviously Lead Savage. If you're looking for a lab to partner with or someone to give you books or some way to design albums, definitely check these out. You guys obviously have an amazing resource for backdrops. So that is definitely a given. And maybe next month I will actually have reached out and asked for permission to use their logo on this screen here. So, but definitely 100% shout out to Baby Dream for letting us have this stage to chat with you guys about. So if you want all of the slides from tonight, you can just scan this little thing here. And guess what? You will be automatically emailed the slides from tonight. So I'll give everybody just a few minutes to scan that little QR code right there and grab those slides. And you can also go to leadsavage.io/slides. There are going to be 6 of these. So each month when we meet, you'll get each month's slides along the way. That way, if you're not here for 1 month or you're not missing out or whatever. And so just download the slide and it will progress. So this month you'll get this slides. Next month you'll receive a link with both slides and then so forth and so on. So if you, I'm going to move on. If you haven't had a chance to scan that, just let me know and we'll come back to it at the end. Okay. All right. So where are we at? Like, let's talk about, and this, we talked about this a little bit earlier on, is like, where's our industry at right now? If you're like me and Lori, when we first started out, when I was working full time, she was in grad school, the only thing we did is focus on the art. We focused on the art 100%. Like, I felt like I mastered off-camera light, I mastered editing, I mastered everything about the art of it, right? But we ignored our business. And just like I said earlier, businesses fail. Our business was on the brink of failing. It would have. I had to make a decision on, do I let my house go and move into the basement, or do I let my studio go and just go get a job at Chick-fil-A or something? And I chose to let my house go and move into the basement of my studio because I knew that the studio had potential to bring me way more than a 9-to-5 job. And I think a lot of you guys understand that as well, which is why you're here. Maybe some of you guys are already working 9-to-5s and you want that exit strategy. You want photography to be your way out. I get it. Lori and I were there too. I hated being a paramedic. I went to work every single day, and the only thing I saw were people sick and dying every single day. And that wears on you after 17 years. Lori was in grad school, and she realized she didn't want to sit behind a desk and write research papers all day long. She needed that creative outlet. So we were both looking for a way out. And so we started focusing on business, on the art, but yet we didn't focus on the business, and we almost tanked our entire dream of being where we are today. And so, that's one thing that we have to keep in mind, is that there's a delicate balance between focusing on the art and being able to create beautiful images to sell our clients, and then focusing on the business to make sure that we have those clients to be able to sell that art to. So recently there's been a big focus on IPS and profitability, but not marketing. You see all these things on Facebook about, like, let me show you how to get to 6 figures. Let me show you 6-figure this, 6-figure that. And I can tell you that's BS, because I had a 6-figure studio and I was bankrupt living in the basement of it. So it's not about how much money you're making. It's about how much money you're keeping. Okay. That's key. That's key for you guys to understand. Know those numbers. But a big part of it that's not being discussed today is marketing. How do we get the phone to ring? That's the biggest thing. How many of you guys are having trouble getting your phone to ring? Like, you're an amazing photographer. You've got all the workflows built, right? You've got everything in place. It's just the phone's not ringing. So that weighs on us for a while. And so here's why we figured out that most photographers struggle. They create beautiful images. The only thing you do is post them online, and you're hoping to be seen, but you don't have a really clear marketing plan. So you get few bookings, and then you feel defeated. And what happens when that happens? When you start feeling defeated, what kicks in? Imposter syndrome. And you start thinking, is it me? Like, did I shower today? Like, do I stink? Like, is it me? Like, why do I brush my teeth? Why are people not booking me? Do people not like me? Like, what is it? And so we start having all these questions in our head. We start thinking, is it my images? Do I need to really just kind of step back and start focusing on the art and make my images better and better and better and better? And then we start thinking, am I even good enough to charge this much? Like, why would people pay me this much money for my images? And that's a real one. People struggle with this all day long. And I'll tell you first and foremost, like I got letters behind my name, but like if you look at my work, it's good. It's not amazing. Like I would not pay me to what I charge to photograph weddings. I'm just going to be honest with you. But people see value in what I do and the experience I give them, so they do it. So, you know, are you good enough to charge the money? Yeah, you are. So that's where imposter syndrome kicks in. So you have to kind of step back and be like, it's not me. It's not my images. I am good enough to charge this stuff. But then you start thinking maybe I should lower my prices. If my prices are if I lower my prices, people come. And then that creates the race to the bottom. If you lower your prices, that new photographer that's coming into market next month is going to look at you and say, oh my God, he or she charges this much money. They've been around for a whole lot longer than I have. I can't charge that much, so I'm going to go lower. And then it creates that race to the bottom. So lowering your prices should never be the option. And then you, at some point, you start thinking, maybe I should give up. And this is where we call the valley of despair, right? If you can picture, like a graph that just has a big dip in it, people come into it on the high and they're thinking, I can do this. It's pictures. I'm good at taking pictures. My mom loves them. Everybody loves them. Everybody tells me I should do this for a living. And then you get down here to these things, right? And you think you should give up. And if you're at this part, I should tell you, do not give up, because you're just hitting that valley of despair and you need to push through it. And maybe it's just simply your marketing. Maybe you're not reaching the right clients at the right time with the right message and the right offer to make them want to pull the trigger. Is that a possibility? That maybe you're just not reaching the right people? And there's a lot of variables here. Keep in mind, the right people at the right time, at the right with the right offer, right? There's a lot of variables here, but it all comes down to marketing. So the goal of it is people can't find you, they can't book you. I know that's a shocker. And the example I give is, I live just outside of Wilmington. So Wilmington is a little town. How many of you guys are familiar with Wilmington, North Carolina? It's like Savannah and Charleston, but really tiny. Historic town, river, coastal. I live just outside of that in an even smaller town called Leland. There's a steakhouse here called Christopher's Restaurant. The sign on the outside of the building looks amazing. It looks fancy. It looks nice. So I told Lori one night, I was like, one night we need to have a date night and we need to go out and have a nice steak. And she's like, all right. And we've been living here for probably 3 years. And, I was expecting that to be a $200 night, right? And so we're like, all right, fine. And for some reason, one night we were like, all right, we got dressed up. We had date night. We went out to Christopher's. We walked into this place, sat down, opened the menu, and an 8-ounce sirloin was $13. And I thought, what? Man, I've come to Sizzler. Okay, it's a fancy branded Sizzler. Like this place that steak is not going to be good. I honestly thought about getting up and leaving and going to like a real steakhouse, because like I was upset because I thought that this was going to be a great dinner. And man, they put this steak down in front of me, and it is better than any steak that I've had in any restaurant in Wilmington, period. Now, we were there on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. There was 0 people other than me and her in this entire restaurant. And I'm looking around going, this is a $13 steak that's better than any $50 steak I've had anywhere in Wilmington, period. And it come down to, no one knows they're there, because when I come home, obviously I'm talking to all my friends of like, have you guys been to Christopher's? Have you? And Leland's not big. We've got like 4 stoplights. Okay. It's not a big town. And everybody's like, where? I'm like, Christopher's over there next to Harris Teeter. It's a steakhouse. They're like, no, I didn't even know it was there. If people can't find you, they cannot book you. And that, I know that seems crazy, because you think that if you're posting on social media and you're going out and you're doing these networking meetings, that of course people know where you are. But I promise you, on scale, they do not. And scale is about what we're going to be talking about over the next several months. Marketing is a game of numbers. That's all it is. If you've ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, you got to pump those numbers up. That's all it is. You got to pump those numbers up if you want to grow. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot about how to pump those numbers up. So I'm just going to bounce into chat really quick and just see if anybody's got questions. Lorraine says, I refuse to lower my prices. Damn right. Right there. Been starting taking my practices pricing sheet for 2 days. Got you. All right. Awesome. Yes. Perfect. Okay. So marketing isn't hard. You just have to have a plan, right? So I don't know who said this. Somebody did. I saw it somewhere. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If somebody knows who said that, put it in there because I'd like to give them credit. I don't know who said it, but it makes sense. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So show of hands, I'm going to actually, I want to see your faces. All right. How many of you guys, raise your hand. How many of you guys have a marketing plan, a marketing calendar of what you're going to market each month throughout the year, year over year? All right. I see a couple of hands. Awesome. I also don't see a lot of hands. So kudos to you guys that are showing hands there, because I get it. It's hard. So I'm going to jump back in here. So that's the hard part. And people think that it's a whole lot harder than it is, but so here's what a marketing plan actually looks like. You can do this either monthly, you can do it bi-monthly, you can do it quarterly, you can do it whatever you want, but have a plan. Look at it and say, what am I going to be marketing next month? What am I going to be marketing this month? And not just like, I think I'm going to do headshots, but like what type of offer are you going to have? We're going to talk a whole lot about creating campaigns, reasons to campaign, types of campaigns, types of offers. We've got a lot of that built down the road, but you have to put it down on a calendar and you have to start thinking about, when this is going to happen, because it's crucial to be able to have a plan. Okay. Now, it's not hard. It sort of is, but it's not hard. So let's break it down. So everybody, if you're using any kind of software, you have a graph that looks kind of like this. Look at revenue month over month, year over year. This is one of the most important graphs in my software that I have. And this is just like a screenshot from some sample data here. But if you are looking at month over month, year over year in your software, and you're seeing things like this, right? Like there's a dip right here. There's always a dip right here. There's a dip right here. Sometimes there's a dip here. Look for those valleys. Look for where historically there's a dip, right? And those are times that you say, I need to have something to come in right here, because normally this is a dip. Normally there's a dip here. Normally there's a dip here. And when you start finding out year over year that historically you have dips in certain times a year, find a campaign, plug it in there, make some money, level out those peaks and valleys to where you have consistent income so you're not always feast or famine. I promise it will change your life to be able to do that. One thing Lori and I did as wedding photographers, it was really simple. We're seasonal. And the way we book weddings, we require them to pay a deposit when they book, and then the remaining balance 30 days out. Well, that's a big scope when sometimes someone's booking you 2 years in advance or a year and a half in advance. And so we were noticing that we were having booking trends to where we would always have really high booking rates in January, February. So we'd be really high up here with everybody booking, but then the rest of the year, it kind of slumped down. And then all of a sudden, when the weather started getting nice in the spring and fall, it would ramp back up. Like spring, we'd have a really high peak here, and then it would die down here, and then there would be a really big peak here, and then it would die down here because of our weather and how seasonal weddings are here. And so we started looking at it, and like, if we just required for them to make a 25% payment 4 months prior to their wedding, that would fill in our summer gap. And it would also fill in our winter gap. And so we just added that one thing, and that helped level it out. But we also started putting in campaigns. So when you start looking at peaks and valleys in your income, and here's the thing, income versus bookings can be completely different when it comes to understanding seasonality and income flow. So you can book a whole bunch of people, but you might not have as much revenue, versus times that you don't book anybody, but you have a ton of revenue, right? So you got to look at that year over year, month over month to figure out where those valleys are and then start thinking about how you can plug a campaign in there in order to be able to balance out your year. Okay. So, so let's talk about a campaign start to finish. And because I think this is one reason why a lot of people do not have really good success with marketing campaigns. And I use Valentine's Day as an example because it just passed. And even as late as January, I saw people posting up, hey, I'm offering mini sessions, or like book now and get this, like in late January. And I'm like, it's like 3 weeks away, guys. You know that, right? Like, like you're a little behind the 8 ball here. So let's start thinking, like, let's pretend that your business, you looked at your graph in February, every year you had a dip. And you're like, okay, I need to have Valentine's Day promotion to bring my dip up to where I'm making money in February. Well, you don't start thinking about that in January. So we know that if we need to deliver product by early February so people can give those as gifts, that's the goal. Okay, so where do we have to start? So that means we have to do our in-person sales by mid-January. Okay, so if we have to do in-person sales by mid-January, so that gives us time to edit and retouch and bring them in for sales appointments and order and deliver the products by February. If we're doing our IPS by mid-January, that means that we have to shoot in early January, right? So if we're shooting in early January, now our marketing window that we're going to start pushing our campaigns out is mid-November to mid-December, because people need time to be able to book you. People need time to be able to think about it. So if we're marketing in mid-November to mid-December, we have to build our ads and schedule our post in early November. So all of that stuff, your ads, your funnel, all that stuff needs to be done in early November. So you have to gather your assets, build and test your funnel or your website or however you're taking their data in late October, which means that you're actually coming up with your sale and your idea for this campaign in September, late September, early October. So does it kind of blow your mind to think, like, if I'm going to be running a campaign for Valentine's Day, I got to start thinking about this in September? You're telling me I got to think about it 5 months out? I got to start thinking about like if you're like me, like I got a lot of balls in the air, between our studio, Lead Savage, convention season, marketing things like this, where we're teaching a baby, like to tell me I got to think about something 5 months early is almost brain frying. But when you wrap your mind around it and you put it in a calendar, then it becomes free, because that calendar pretty much runs your marketing. And now every day when you wake up, you look at your calendar and you go, by the end of the month, I have to come up with an idea for my campaign. Okay, the next month, all right, I need to build and test my funnel. The next month, I need to build my ads and schedule them. The next month. And so now you're not in that crunch of like last minute going, crap, Valentine's Day is next month. I got to come up with a sale. How many of you guys have done that? Regardless of Valentine's Day, whatever it is, Black Friday's another one. Oh crap, Black Friday's next month. I got to come up with a sale. Or even you just look at your forecast and go, you know what? I don't have a lot of money coming in next month. I got to come up with a sale. So times that you don't have money coming in, and I use Valentine's Day as an example, but if you just look at a random Tuesday in March and you go, I always have a dip in March. I need to come up with something. Well, you need to know that that dip is coming in March 5 months early. You should know that that dip historically is there, and you need to come up with something 4 or 5 months early and start promoting it so that you can get those sales to come in March. Does that make sense? Does that blow your mind to think that you've got to start thinking 3 to 4 months ahead of your sale to be able to start doing it? And here's the thing, it takes 5 to 6 weeks after your sale goes live before you actually start seeing money from those. So let's say you launch your ads or you launched a promotion, whether it's ads or organic or Facebook or Instagram or your email list or whatever it may be. You launch it today, you're still looking 5 to 6 weeks before money starts rolling in the door. And so those are things we got to wrap our mind around as photographers and not wait to the last minute in order to be able to push this marketing campaign, when at the last minute we realize that we don't have money coming in, or there's a reason to do a sale around the corner, and going, oh shit, like what do I do now? I just throw something together, and then you wonder why you don't have great success with it, is because you just threw something together last minute instead of properly planning it and building out the whole thing from start to finish months in advance. So when you launch, you're ready to go. Okay. So tonight, each of these little talks that we do is 30 minutes ish, somewhere along in there. We do some Q&A after. So your homework between now and next month is to look at your peaks and valleys. Go in, whether you use a CRM, whether you have a spreadsheet, or just, if you don't, just go download your bank statements and put them into Excel and turn it into a line chart so that you can see where your peaks and valleys are. Because next month we're going to look at types of campaigns and reasons to campaign, and we're going to start helping you gather ideas for how to fill those peaks and valleys. Okay. So questions on tonight's little chit chat?
I don't see any in the chat yet, but as long as we don't do it all at once, we can kind of jump in. Jeff, do you, or let's see, someone was asking, was it crazy for them to start doing their Christmas stuff now? No, the thing is, you'll be ahead of everybody else. So
absolutely,
we usually start ours probably sometime in the spring is when we'll start kind of slowly putting out there, booking our Magic of Santa stuff. So
yeah. And one thing that Lori and I do, sometimes I'll just get an idea. Like I just got an idea for a quiz funnel the other day, and I'm going to build it out. I have no idea when I'm going to run it, but I'm going to build it out. And essentially what it does is it walks someone through, and we'll run an ad for this one. It'll be one that we actually push paid to. We'll go, again, I don't always go ads. I think of it like print comp. So the first thing I do is push it out to my mailing list. We've got about 5,000 people, clients that are on our mailing list. So I push it out to all those people first. I'll see what the response is. From there, I'll push it out to social media, to all of our social media channels, because we have more reach there than what I actually have contact information. And then from there, if I don't get the response, then I do two things actually. So the first thing I do, if I push it out to my email list and social media and I don't get a big response, just like image comp, you look at it and you go, what's wrong? Like why isn't it meriting? And so I'll go in and tweak the offer. I'll go in and tweak the funnel. I'll tweak the images. I'll tweak the text. I'll do all kind of things. And sometimes I do it between emailing it out and pushing it on social. So if I email it out and I don't get a great response, we'll look at it and go, why didn't we get a great response? We got 4,000 people, 1 to 3% conversion rate. I should have booked at least, a handful of people off that, and 1 to 3% is industry standard for conversion rates for digital marketing. So, I'm looking at it going, okay, I didn't hit the numbers. Why? Let me tweak it. Then we'll push it to social. Did I hit my numbers? No.
And
okay.
some of those things too are, when did you send that email? What time of day?
Correct. Yeah.
On our big ad campaigns, for us, we know our demographic. We know who we're wanting to see our ads. So we have a specific time that we send out our ads. I won't send one. The worst thing you could do is run a promo or something and send it on a Friday at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, or a Saturday night, something like that. We have very specific times. What I'll share for us, a lot of ours we will run on a Monday or Tuesday at 10 a.m. Because we're after either we're after the moms, basically, is who we're after. So they've gone to work and they've settled in, and they might take a little break after they've been there and they check their phone, or they've dropped the kids off at school and now they've got a little bit of me time. Yeah. The other time for us is right around 3 o'clock. A lot of the moms are picking kids up at school and they're waiting in that line. And so they will be on their phones looking at social media while they're waiting to pick up kids. So you have to know your market when you want to send that, because people get flooded with so much stuff.
Yeah. And, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, those are called scrolling habits. And when, like a longer version of the building a marketing calendar is understanding scrolling habits. And just like you said, people with kids in the mornings, when they're like doing the scramble of like, I got to get the kid ready for school, and I got to get them fed and get them dressed, and I got to get to work on time. They're not on social media. They're not checking their email. Right. And by the time they get to work, it's done. So lunch break's going to be your best time to hit them. Yep. Other people, it's just the opposite. They get home, it's like homework, getting bedtime baths and everything. So, one thing that we do in our business is, when I have a post to go out, like on social media, I'll schedule the exact same graphic, exact same text. I'll schedule it Monday morning, around 10 or 11, so they hit it on lunch hour. I'll schedule it Wednesday midday, so they hit it maybe after work. And then I'll schedule it on Friday at night. So maybe, and the same person will not see it. Chances are they will not see it more than once. But if they
Right.
don't see it Monday and they don't see it Tuesday, chances are they'll see it Wednesday. And then I have 3 posts for everything. And I do Monday morning, afternoon, evening. And then I just take those exact same 3 posts and I rotate the order of them. And I do it on Wednesday and I do it on Friday. So it's only 3 pieces of content, but I get 9 posts out of it.
Wow.
And that all point back to my offer or my landing page, because chances are somebody didn't see one or the other of those at any point during the day. And so you're hitting your audience a whole lot heavier than you would. Now, you don't want to do that on Instagram necessarily because your feed will just be cluttered as crap with like duplicates, but it's really good for Facebook and emails to do that.
Yeah. So it says, so we have a business to business photographers. How many months earlier than their season session should we start marketing? So for Christmas product, it's when are photographers buying for Christmas, buying for their Christmas sessions? June.
I don't know the Christmas market. That's probably an answer for you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's, for us, I know Aileen, if you think about it, she always does the Christmas in July is when she launches her new drops. So what I'll tell you is most of the people that are doing holiday sessions, whether it's Santa or just holiday, they're usually putting together their sample images in July, early August, so that they can then start that process. I know for us, we get a lot of bookings during the Santa season, but we really push hard, probably August. That's when we're really pushing, but we open up our Santa bookings, April, May. We're pushing it. So.
And feel free to unmute, guys. If you got questions,
yeah, feel free to ask away.
This is just open discussion at this point, But I think understanding your seasonality. How many of you guys have thought about seasonality like that, and like looked at it of like, wow, I don't realize I always have a dip this time, but I know that I'm always not as busy this time. So
yeah. And we're trying to build around certain types of sessions during certain types of the season. We've got something that we're going to launch this summer, and we specifically picked summer because we know the type of session it's going to be. We need the flexibility of the kids being out of school and potential family members traveling in for this thing that we're going to create, and so we didn't want to launch it in the fall or early spring when people can't travel if they need to travel.
Yeah, Linda says in her IT job she does a forecasting method, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're just forecasting. We're forecasting, what we're expecting to bring in based off historical data in our studio, and then we're also forecasting income based off campaigns that we're looking to run to fill those holes. And once you get like Lori and I was showing Chris the inside of my account at Lead Savage tonight. And I have so many campaigns built in there that I basically just look at it and go, okay, next month's headshots, which one do I want to run? Because I've got 5 or 6 built out. Because I'll just sit down, I'll have an idea like the quiz funnel idea, and I'll just sit down and build the funnel and then go, okay, it's built. Now I just need to find the time to run it. Yeah. And when you're always having these campaigns and you're always running things, and they're not always sales, because I know that a lot of photographers, are like, I don't ever want to go on sale. I don't want to discount my prices. They're not always sales. Some of them are sales, and we're going to talk about that with types of campaigns and reasons to campaign next month. But sometimes it's just a value add or a reason, right?
Yep.
Valentine's Day is a reason. You don't necessarily have to discount your product. It's just a reason. You can do a value add. So one thing that Lori does with that she runs with Everyday Hero, we have one called Everyday Heroes. It's an evergreen. It runs year round, and it's targeting teachers, nurses, police, fire, EMS, anybody that works that's an everyday hero. This campaign targets, And it basically, she's partnered with, so it's a combination of an evergreen campaign and a partnership campaign, which we're going to talk about all these next week or next month. But she's also partnered with I Am Day Spa and Salon to give them a 60-minute massage, and then Revival Skin and Laser Clinic, to where they get 50% off of any service that they want there. And so, anybody that books, that's a full price session. No one's getting a discount on their boudoir session, but they're getting partner incentives. They're getting that, I guess it is a little bit of a discount if we're paying, we're paying for the massage.
Right.
But
it doesn't, what we have found, we do something kind of similar, but not with other partners. You're not diminishing the value of your product or your service by giving somebody something else. One of the things we learned in the sales side of things is when, clients always want to negotiate, they want a deal or something. And we have a motto, give product, not cash. So if I need to incentivize someone to buy that big package that they really want, well, then I'll say, well, you're needing some extra images for the grandmas. Okay, well, if you do that wall portrait in that album, what if I go ahead and include a set of premium prints for each of the grandparents at no charge, instead of giving them a $500 discount or something like that? So that kind of ties in a little bit to that.
So Claire said, for photographers who don't have large lists of clients, do you recommend a number of times to run ads, or what methods would be most useful to build your list? So two things. One, we're going to talk about types of campaigns. One of the campaign types is called a lead magnet. It's huge for us. We've built Lori's boudoir list to almost 4,000 people in nearly no time. And essentially it is a guide that just says, 7 things you need to know before booking a boudoir photographer. And you can create these things really easy. Just go into Canva and make a nice PDF. And essentially what you do is you run a very low cost ad on Facebook for $2 or $3 a day, targeting your audience. And in Lori's case, it's women 25 to 65 that like luxury high-end experiences and spa experiences and things in the Facebook world. And she runs this just like $2 or $3 a day ad pushing back to that guide. And that's allowed her to build her list, because when someone goes and downloads this guide, now we have their email address, we have their phone number. And so they've told us they're interested in boudoir. So now we are owning our audience, which is another thing we're going to talk about heavily in one of the other ones that we can market to every single time. So it's list building. So that's really important. And I know a lot of you guys thinking, I don't know how to write this stuff. How many of you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys have heard of Chat GPT? Okay. So has anyone never heard of it? Like, because I want to show you how amazing.
Show it to us. Yeah, this will blow y'all away.
Like, I'm not even joking how crazy this is.
Yeah, so this is a great free thing that Jeff shares.
I got to get out of here. Okay, here we go. So if you go to, and this is one, thank you for registering for the workshop. So if you go to chat.openai.com/chat, and I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to put it into the chat thing here. But if you talk about like,
so Jeff, why don't you go to the homepage of chat?
Okay.
OpenAI, just so they get a better.
So it's chat.openai.com/chat. So that's where it is. Or actually, let's see. Let me just Google Chat GPT, and then it's openai.com. I think it's actually.
See, Jeff, I think I clicked on one of the other ones by mistake.
And then here it is. It's this one, openai.com/blog.
Jeff, why don't you post that in the chat?
Okay,
that link.
That one. Okay, copy. And then let me stop the share, go to chat, and then here, just everyone. Control V. There we go. So that is the one you're going to go to. And then I'm going to jump back in. And essentially what you're going to do is click on Try Chat GPT. And it's going to ask you to log in. I just logged in using Google. It's going to create an account. But here you're going to type in, let's say that you are a children's portrait photographer. Top 5, let's do this. 350 word article on the top 5 ways to decorate your home with family portraits. and it just starts typing, and it's pretty freaking amazing. Now, if you're a purist for SEO, there's a whole lot of talk out here about like, oh, Google's going to suppress it, Google's going to do this, Google's going to do that. But for a PDF lead magnet, Google don't know what's in it, right? So I wouldn't recommend filling up your whole website with this stuff. If you're looking at no follow link blog post, it's great. Article pages that have no follow link, it's great. But like anything that you can type, it's crazy. Chris, what city are you in?
We're in McKinney, Texas.
Hang on. Watch this. This is crazy. Top 5 locations in, how you spell it?
MC, capital KINNEY.
McKinney, Texas, for Epic High School Senior Portraits. Now you tell me if these places it lists are decent.
Yep, that's where we are.
That number 1 is where our studio is.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
And number 2 is where our first studio was.
Like it's
no
crazy
Myers Park, but okay.
at how accurate this
I know yeah, it's number 1 is that's where everybody goes, and Chestnut Square is beautiful. Yeah, it's unbelievable accurate.
So you could copy this and then go into Canva. And so go into Canva and go to home and go into create a design, and you're going to do let's do ebook. That's it. Let's do let's actually, what is it? It's not ebook, it's flyer. Let's do flyer portrait, and then we're going to come over here and type ebook. And then here are all the ebook templates. So go and grab one that you like. And then you can take all of these and take the text and just paste it in here, change the colors to match your branding. Boom, you've got a PDF that is ready to go for a lead magnet in like less than an hour. So it's amazing. Like, you don't have to be, you know, like a wordsmith to be able to create this stuff anymore. So, you know, there's no reason you shouldn't have those lead magnets. And there's an entire class that we're doing this month, or 1 month, based on list building, owning your audience, lead magnets, content generation, just like this, where we're going to talk really heavily about how to do all this stuff. But
hey, Jeff, I want to interrupt before anybody leaves. Because we have a door prize, and I know we had a few people leave a while ago. So I was like, oh crap, I don't want everybody to leave, and we have this door prize. Trying to think how we could, Lori, do you have a list anywhere of everyone who is, do we have a list? Can you pull up everybody who registered for this? And we'll do a blind thing here in a second. So Jeff, why don't you keep going for just a minute?
okay.
And you know what? I am going to do a shameless plug real quick. And we can post the link. Jeff, I think I mentioned this to you. So and most of y'all found out about this because of the free workshop that we gave away, the Santa workshop on Baby Dream. And on April 14th and 15th, I was able to talk H&H Color Lab, and Aileen agreed, and Jeff agreed to do a 2-day seminar at H&H with a lab tour and tour all their products and everything, and to learn everything inside and out of Lead Savage. And this is one of the lowest cost workshops we've ever offered. So I don't want to make this sound like we did this whole thing just to do the workshop, but I am getting lots of questions and some private messages and stuff. So we will post, I'll share the link if you want information about that workshop. The cool thing is we just found out yesterday afternoon late that if you're a PPA member, all we're waiting on is approval from PPA, and you'll get a merit for attending it. So that makes it really cool for those of us that are PPA members that are needing merits. So we will drop the link to do it, and everyone gets in here. Because we had mentioned we were going to launch it tonight. Lori, just post the link for them to register and the code, because it's 50% off to all of y'all. anybody that joins before we launch it full time. And we're supposed to launch it tonight, but we'll hold it a day or so because Jeff.
Hey, does
told us some
PPA
things
give us merits for teaching it?
What's that?
Does PPA give us merits for teaching it?
I will make sure that, yes. So I know for sure we get 2 merits. So
Okay.
we'll make sure you definitely get a merit.
All right, awesome.
I'll try to get a 3rd merit for that as well. So
Awesome.
anyway, Lori, if you'll just post that in the chat.
Okay, I can only post one thing at a time.
Okay, sorry, Jeff.
That's okay.
So we're trying to figure out who to give the door prize to. So
Hold on, I've got to throw in the name picker, but I'm putting.
oh, okay. So go ahead, Jeff. So let's have somebody answer some questions. Let me change my view back. Lori's going to put it in a name picker thing, and we'll
Random name picker.
and we'll do it. We'll doing it by email. So she'll have it here in just a second. We'll do that drawing.
All right, awesome. So
I
guys,
have a question.
yes.
Hi, can you tell me a little bit more about Lead Savage?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I just, we didn't talk a whole lot about it because I didn't want this to be about Lead Savage. This is about marketing, right? I didn't want it to be a commercial for Lead Savage, but
right.
Essentially what we are is we have taken and created a platform that is all-in-one marketing for you, and it will allow you to build out you can build your entire website in there. You can build all of your sales funnels. You can do all of your email marketing, two-way text messaging, all of your social media scheduling, all of your contact management, all of your calendars and bookings, pretty much everything out of one platform. And my favorite feature of it, we have what we call an Omnibox, that is one inbox that houses all of your communications, whether it's email, text, Facebook, Instagram, website contact form, text messaging, phone calls, everything. We have a phone dialer built in. So essentially it's a one-stop shop for anything lead communication, marketing, all in one platform.
And honestly, that's
leadsavage.io.
And that's what blew us away, was all of it in one. And the only reason that I really wanted to offer the workshop, I'll be honest with you guys, is and we've already opened registration up for my past students. I have an alumni group, anyone that's been to any of our workshops, and we try to help each other year round. So when I teach, everybody goes into that group, and if they ever need help or something with Santa or whatever, it's not done after that workshop. And I was so in love with Lead Savage and how it gives us a way to do all of this in one place, that I wanted to offer a very reasonable price where my past students could go and learn how to better market the stuff they've already paid us to do. So I didn't want to do this to make a whole bunch of money. That was not my objective. And I'm glad that Jeff has agreed to help educate us and build a program.
So
And you get to tour a lab. You get to go behind the scenes and watch metals being made, all this kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Lorraine asked, is there a way on the Omnibox that it can send us a text that there's someone waiting for us? Do you mean waiting for you like you've got an inquiry? If that's the answer, absolutely. It automates all of your lead follow-up. It can send you text or mobile app notifications that you have a new inquiry. It can set reminders on your dashboard in the form of tasks that you have an inquiry to follow up with. It automates all of your lead follow-up, automates all of your calendar bookings, consultation schedules, shoots, if you want it to be shoots, pretty much everything. So,
and anyone that comes to the workshop gets a free month, 30 days to do it. So, hey, let's see who won something. Y'all want to know that? So this is I don't have a picture of it, but it is a 16 by 24 edge block with from H&H with a metal print or canvas print or a torn edge fine art.
Nice.
Can you grab the small one that we have? I'll show y'all. I'm going to grab the small one so y'all can see it.
Can I join?
If your email's in here, we will see. Okay, I'm here just so y'all can see. I'm going to tap this. Here we go. And it's Lori put the emails in here. So whoever's email this is.
I need that app.
It is hello@thekpcollection.com. Who is that? Hopefully it's somebody that's on here. We said you had to be live, but we did it
Well, you
late.
didn't
so-
tell me that.
Yeah, I know. So who won that?
I can find out.
Okay, Lori will look here in a second. And so this is cool. These were real popular during Santa. We got to watch them make this when we did our lab tour up at H&H. So it's a metal print on this block. It's really nice. You can do any color on this. We just did a project for a client. It's taken us 2 years to get it done. We did 12 movie posters, recreated them with their family in the movie posters for their movie room. And we just ordered them 24 by 36 on these, and they shipped today. So, and this is on a matte metal. So that's what somebody just won.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll put the link in there to, and Lori, we need the code for the registration for MissingLInk for anyone here to get a 50% discount. I think it's HH50.
And those are absolutely gorgeous. We have one hanging in our studio too, and they
Lorraine's
do
holding it
that
up.
one. Is the one that they won with the metal, or is it the actual deckled paper?
They can get either one. We've
Yeah.
got they can pick metal canvas or the deckled edge, which is
I love the
torn edge.
deckled edge. That thing
Yeah,
is
that
amazing.
it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. So anyway, the winner is Kristen. I'm gonna butcher the last name, so I'll let somebody else butcher that last name. So anyway, that's who won. And she was here, or well, Lori, hang on, wait.
I don't know.
Did you put everyone that signed up
You
in?
didn't tell me not to.
Ooh, you know what? I tell you what we're gonna do.
The next time we'll. do
We're
that.
gonna still give that to her. I'm gonna do one more.
Well, then you're gonna have to. pick
I'm gonna do a
somebody. I
second
don't know
one.
how
So
to-
I am. I'm
who I
gonna
was gonna
now
show.
I'm gonna just randomly go through here and let me see here. There was a question earlier. So someone asked Jeff a question while I look. And because
All right, hit me up.
you know what? I'm going to do this because of something. This question really stood out to me earlier. Jeff, when you talked about being frustrated and they really needed marketing, and this person's comment said, I'm there right now. I've been staring at my pricing sheet for 2 days thinking about cutting everything in half. And we don't want someone to do that. No. And that's why this stuff's important. So Tammy Gallant, you were here live in person. So you get the other one for, you know what, for just being honest and putting that out there. And hopefully somehow this helps motivate you to, instead of cutting your pricing, better your marketing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Reach more people. It's a numbers game.
Yes. Yes. So Tammy, this goes to you. I'm going to get Mary to get me new ones. So, and I'll get them for you guys, or coach, or put you in touch with Mary. So send me a direct message. All right. So any other questions about anything? I'll stop the recording. Here we